This is the story of a boy named Aarav, a boy who walked with dreams in his eyes, but with a broken shoe on his feet. Every day, he would walk 3 miles to school, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He wanted to learn, to build a life different from what he was born into. Aarav studied in a small government school. The walls were cracked, the benches were broken, and his shoes were torn from the sides. Some children laughed at him. "Look at Aarav, his shoe is almost falling apart." Aarav would just smile and say softly, "It's okay. One day, I'll buy shoes for all of you." Every time he walked on that rough road, stones would hurt his feet, but the pain only made his dreams stronger. Aarav lived with his mother, who worked as a cleaner. Every evening she would come home tired, her hands covered in detergent, her eyes full of hope. She often said, "Aarav, maybe we can't afford everything, but we can still afford dreams." Those words became Aarav's heartbeat. At night, when the electricity went out, he would study under a small candlelight, writing on the back of old newspapers. Candle Scene 3: The Mockery and the Moment. One day, his school announced a big quiz competition. The winner would get a scholarship to a city school. Aarav's classmates laughed. "How will you compete with your broken shoe and torn bag?" Aarav just smiled. He had nothing fancy, no new books, no fancy shoes. But he had belief. He spent nights preparing, memorizing facts, practicing questions, while his mother quietly watched him, tears in her eyes. The day of the competition arrived. Aarav wore his old school uniform, neatly washed, and his same old broken shoe. When he stood on stage, his voice trembled at first, but as he spoke, his confidence grew. Question after question, he answered everything perfectly. At the end of the competition, the principal smiled and said, "The winner is Aarav." The whole school clapped. Even those who mocked him had tears in their eyes. 10 years passed. Aarav became a successful architect in the city. One day, he returned to his old school, with boxes of new shoes for every student. He gathered all the children and said, "These shoes aren't for walking, they're for running after your dreams." The principal noticed Aarav holding something in his hand, a small glass box. Inside it was that same broken shoe, framed forever. He smiled and said, "This was my first step toward success." Moral of the story: don't wait for perfect conditions. Start with what you have, even if it's a broken shoe.